Good morning and welcome back to it, the Now Morning Show, your Friday edition, where Patrice is welcoming you back because we are talking to some real women in the realm of HR who are continuing to celebrate International Women's Day all through the month of March with an event that you do not want to miss. So joining me this morning is Ms. Cavell Joseph St. Omar, the president of the Human Resources Association of Trinidad and Tobago. I was about to use the abbreviation. And of course, we are also joined by Ms. Michelle Harinaran Singh, the Assistant Secretary and Treasurer of HRMATT.
Correct.
Yes, I got it right. Good morning, ladies, and welcome. And let me say immediately, thank you for continuing to celebrate women all through the month of March. Tell me, though, how are we doing this with this event? We are sipping tea, aren't we?
Sipping tea this evening. This evening at 6 p.m., HRMATT continues the celebration, as you've rightly said, of International Women's Day, recognizing a month of focusing on women in HR. This evening we have on our panel, which is Tea with HRMATT, as you've said, and our theme for the event is Beyond the Glass Ceiling. We have with us Dr. Hyacinth Guy, Maxine Barnett, Lara Quantrell-Thomas, and Jane White, all moderated by Jessie May Ventor, where we'd be speaking to these women about their experiences as practitioners of HR throughout their careers. They're all CEOs now, right? And they have different journeys, which we want to hear a little bit about. We want to make sure that we prepare our practitioners for the same journey and get the guidance and experience of these women. So it makes it easier, you know, when you reach the top, I think we all have an obligation to pull each other up. And that's the intent of this particular event. 4 women, 4 very different journeys, and we're going to draw from their experiences to help prepare our young and upcoming practitioners who are looking for advancement just the same.
I love these sorts of networking and initiatives because, as you say, we can draw from each other's strengths and even learn from each other's shortcomings. But isn't that entirely what the association is about, making sure that persons within the realm can share experiences? Yes?
Yes, that's absolutely true. And it's not only for or geared towards our association, it's also for other professionals, not only HR professionals, other young professionals. We've been around since 1989, and we're growing. We also have, in continuing with this celebration from next week also, we also have another practitioners learning network event on the 16th, where we'd have Sharon Christopher. She would be leading that event, and also on the 23rd of March would bring us to the last day of our celebrations. We're also having our HRMATT Says event. So that event will also be chaired by 2 persons, Dr. Hussein, Gabriel Hussein, and the Falade Mutudo. She's also going to be facilitating those events. So it's actually a week. It's actually ending on the 23rd of March, but it's this week, starting today, and also ending next week.
I like that there are a number of activities to continuously reintroduce, if you will, the organization to persons, but also to make sure that the message is continuously shared through different conversations. Because if we're talking about, well, tea is going to be a little bit more of networking, a little lighter, quite like tea myself, and then we get into workshops and things of that sort.
Yes.
So tell me how I can be part of the organization, because as you said, it's for professionals outside of HR as well. How do we become a part of HRMATT?
As we fondly call it. Well, on our website, we always guide people to our website. We have our application form. You fill out the form. There's a $450 annual membership, right? And your application, along with the application, you submit your CV and give us a sense of who you are, because we do have to comply with FIU. FIU do impact NGOs as well too, right? So you fill out your FIU forms as well too, and then the applications are submitted to the board. Every month we approve new members, and there are several categories of members. And just so you know, we actually introduced a new category which caters for persons who've been affected by the pandemic and who are not employed at this point in time. So we call it a compassionate fee. It's 150 is geared towards retirees, because we do believe people who have formally retired from organizations, because we do have a fixed retirement age,
right,
but who are very much capable and have the capacity to still mentor, to still contribute, who are working as consultants, etc., that we now have this this category of members where it's less because you're not in active employment anymore,
right,
but you can still contribute. We've segmented our market, so we have a sense of who our members are and at what stage in their careers they are. And we don't want anyone to feel isolated or out of the circle.
Right.
I do believe there's value to all the demographics in the workspace. And if we recognize now that this is the one time in human history where we have 5 generations in the workspace, that has never happened before. And we want to make sure that we capture all of them, recognizing that someone at the beginning of their career is not the same as someone at the end of their career. So we want to make sure we have events and activities that will allow for everyone to share, learn, and don't lose the value. Because sometimes we feel that when people reach at a particular age in life, you just kick them to the side. But there's great value in their experiences and their knowledge, and we want to capture that in a real way. So that's why we introduced the Practitioners Learning Network in particular. So although we have a woman who would lead the conversation, there's workshop, as you say, the breakout rooms, and we go into that and we do active work along the topic that we're talking about, with hopes of really shaping our workspaces that will allow for the removal of gender biases altogether. We could only do that through active learning, actually.
Beautifully put.
So,
I have very little that I want to add, just because there's so many nuggets of information. The fact that persons who can contribute after their work life are very essential to their development, the opportunity to mentor, the way in which it's very easy to network in these sorts of events. Beautiful stuff that I'm thrilled to hear about. But I do need to know, in terms of this particular event, the more specific details. So when we talk about this incredible panel, what sorts of topics or what sorts of conversations will be privy to
be held? Well, they're going to be speaking about their journeys, because they all have the background of human resource management. They've all worked in that field before. So they're going to speak to anyone who's attending about how their journey began, the challenges, the obstacles that they would have faced, give us their learning lessons, help motivate us who attend the segment this afternoon, and also showing us that we can also go beyond that glass ceiling and achieve what we want to achieve as women, no matter where we are, wherever we started, and also where we want to end up. So that's
definitely want to
we need to really attend this evening, yes.
And if I may add to what Michelle just said, it's for women, and like I say, it's specific bits of information we want to draw from them.
Right.
So Maxine Barnett is actually one of the founders of HRMATT. And as Michelle said, this is back in the 80s, where, again, the career, the field of HR, when you look at who led HR at that point in time, was predominantly men. And to be a female at that point in time, coming together with some men like Gordon Draper and Anthony Watkins, some of the more senior persons coming together to start HRMATT, Glenn Wilson, and being a woman there and recognizing the need to have this association and for networking way back then, we want to hear from her journey starting up an association, and now Maxine is the CEO of her firm. She has a global impact. She's part of the diaspora in Washington, D.C., right? Coaching and mentoring professionals now. When you look at Hyacinth Guy, I mean, is a familiar name in HR. She chairs the Salary Reviews Commission. She's on the board of Cipriani Labor College. So you want to get a sense of her board experience in particular. And we want to prepare our practitioners for the board. We believe every board room should have an HR member on the board. But we have to prepare our members for that role. We can't just say it and be a token in the room. We have to contribute. Jane White's experience now is very different, because Jane entered a family-owned and managed business, and she became the CEO. As an HR practitioner, there's an opinion out there that HR practitioners cannot be CEOs or cannot run organizations. We want to demystify that, and Jane's experience could draw that from us. And Lara has always been a business owner. When she returned from the UK, she started up her practice, and Lara Quanchel Thomas recruitment firm is one of the larger firms in the country. So that is what we want to share with our our members and those who attend, because it's for members and non-members,
Right.
to again be inspired and get a sense of how to do it. Sometimes you have a brilliant idea out there, but you don't necessarily know how to execute it, especially as a practitioner, where people feel you're touchy-feely and it's all about people, and we just sit down and sing kumbaya, and we don't know anything about numbers, and you know, so
Right,
let
all
us
these myths.
demystify that and break that bias altogether.
We're shattering glass ceilings, we're breaking myths, we are networking, we are preparing our practitioners for the future, and we are celebrating International Women's Day all month long, which with HRMATT this afternoon at 6 p.m. They are going live on Zoom as well, so head over to the website www.hrmatt.com, that's HRMATT.com, for your opportunity to chime in as well. Ladies, thank you so very much for joining me this morning, for continuing to fly the flag high, as I like to say, for females everywhere, for professionals everywhere, and for making a difference today. Thank you very much for joining us. We take a quick break and we come back with more here on the Now Morning Show.
You try your best with some people, they vex you by